Hey guys and gals, Scott with Heritage Farms, Texas. Well, hey, here we are. It's Tuesday afternoon. It's like 5:30, and what are we doing? Well, believe it or not, it's been another year since I last did maintenance on this Kubota. So this is a 2019 Kubota RTV-XG850. I've got some other videos on my channel if you guys want to go out and check it out. But I can't believe this, but this is our 2-year anniversary basically on this piece of equipment. And you know, they recommend doing service oil change on it every 100 hours. So last year at this time, in June of last year, we did a service on this and it had 209 hours. And I am just ashamed to admit, but this year, here we are, June of 2021. And guess what? It's got 396 hours. You can come in here and when you first turn on one of these things, you can actually see the hour meter, 396 hours. Wow. Hard to believe that is the case. But, so I'm way past due on an oil change. The good news is that we use synthetic oil, so I'm hoping that this thing is still in good shape. But you can see it's been raining so much this spring. This is the only vehicle that can get around the farm. So when I'm back here at the corporate offices during the week, I have to get this thing cleaned up, maintained, serviced, and everything else. So here's what's on deck. First off, we're gonna give it a good power washing because as you can see, it's just a filthy, filthy mess. So that's the first thing we're gonna do. From there, we're gonna get in here and do an oil change on it. Put in oil, 4 quarts of Mobil Syntethic. We'll put a new oil filter on there. We'll grease the A-arms and all of the fittings that require greasing. We'll clean out the air filter. The air filter is good for 1,000 hours is when they recommend changing it. So we should be able to just hopefully blow it out and make sure the chamber's clean. And then we'll go from there. So the next thing that they recommend at 400 hours, which we're at 396. So the fact that I'm a weekend warrior, I'm gonna go ahead and do the 400-hour maintenance. They want us to change the transmission fluid, which requires 2.6 quarts of a transmission fluid, and also the front differential, which requires basically something like 6/10 or 7/10 of a quart of oil up there. They use the same oil in the front and the rear, but hey, that's what we have to do. So step one, we got some power washing to do. And as you can tell, this thing is messy because the farm has been so wet. It's just caked on here. I mean, you can just see how the mud is just absolutely everywhere. If it wasn't for this vehicle, we wouldn't have been able to get around. So, all right, guys, sit tight. I apologize, I don't have my GoPro set up, or I would put it on a tripod and let it run, but my daughter confiscated my GoPro to go on vacation, and it hasn't found its way back to the corporate offices yet. So more to follow. So unfortunately, I'm having to deal with my iPhone. All right, guys, sit tight. We'll get this process started. So here's the before. Okay, guys, I'm gonna talk pretty fast here because my battery's about to run out. But you know, what's the saying about the best made plans, or something along that line? Mice and men. I don't know how that saying goes, but anyway, I didn't get everything done I wanted to. I thought I was going to be able to do a little power washing, get this guy cleaned up, and I was hoping that I could also get the oil changed tonight so that tomorrow night I could focus on doing the transmission. Well, the problem I ran into is this thing was way dirtier than what I ever thought it was going to be. So here we are, I'm 2 hours in. So for 2 hours straight, I've been power washing using the Ryobi high performance induction motor, the 2300 PSI. I got a lot of grief on this when I did a video on that power washer when I first bought it. Everybody said, oh, you need to get gas, you're gonna regret that. I love that power washer. I plug it in, it works. I don't have to jack with it. There's no pulling and starting. There's a lot to be said for a good and electric tool when it works. But back to the Sidekick. Man, this thing was just absolutely filthy. It's been at the farm 1 year. And unfortunately, it's kind of like a rented mule. What's the old cowboy saying? It's been rode hard and put up wet. This thing was just absolutely abused. we have worked it to death. I like the analogy of the rented mule. This thing has just been abused and abused, and knock on wood, it's 2 years old, and I love it. We've had 0 complaints. I hate to even say that because as soon as I say it, something will go wrong. But I couldn't believe how much mud was on this. I mean, I bet I knocked off 100 pounds of mud. This thing was just filthy. I mean, it was built up all around the CV boots. I'm surprised the boots weren't torn just because the mud was built up so much. I'm surprised the disc brakes even worked. The wheels on the inside were caked solid with mud just because it's been so wet. Everything we drive through is 6 to 8 inches, a foot deep in mud. And just what a mess. So I really hate that I've abused it as hard as I have, but you know, I bought it with the intention I was going to use it. It was purchased as a utilitarian vehicle, and we have done that. But man, this thing is still dirty. I see dirt everywhere on it, but at least it's cleaner than what it was. It's somewhat functional. I can now get in here, I can grease it, I can change the oil, change the transmission fluid, and try to get this thing in top shape, because next to the tractor, this is the most important vehicle on the farm. So, all right, well, we didn't get everything accomplished that we wanted to, but at least we're moving down the road. We got it cleaned, we got it power washed. It's not perfect, but it's somewhat clean. And here we go. So we're at 396 hours. We're gonna do an oil change. We're gonna do the front differential. We're gonna do the transmission fluid and the air filter. And we'll check the fuel filter as well. And that should get us down the road to the next service, hopefully a year later. So, all right, guys, more to follow. But hey, if you're in the market for side-by-side, I am a huge fan of the Sidekick RTV-XG850. It's done everything I want. And let me tell you, for a farm vehicle, it's all there. It'll run 40 miles an hour. It'll pull a load. I love the size of the bed on it. It does everything that we need. Most important factor is 2 years in, it's given us 0 issues. It starts, it runs, and it is a joy to drive and a powerhouse. All right, more to follow with the maintenance. All right, guys, well, here we are. It's Wednesday night after work, and we are back on the Kubota project. So just a quick recap. We brought it home this week to do maintenance on it. We're right at the 400-hour mark, 396 hours to be exact. And what are we doing? Well, today we're going to change the oil, the filter, we're going to grease it, we're going to change the transmission fluid in the back, and we're going to change the front differential fluid. We may also look at the spark arrestor. And I tell you what, I thought we did a good job of power washing it yesterday, but man, I tell you what, when this thing dried, there's still a tremendous amount of sand, dirt, debris. I mean, you can see on this engine even, it is a mess. So once again, I apologize. I'm without my GoPro and my tripod, so I'm just gonna film this on the iPhone. I'm not gonna bore you with every step, but what I've done so far is we came down here. The first thing you have to do is remove the skid pan on the bottom. Once you get the skid pan removed, which I have it outside so I can wash it because it had like 10 pounds of dirt on the inside of the skid pan. So I've drained the oil. Come up here, the oil filter is on the front of the engine, and you have to access it through the seat here. So you can see how dirty it is down in there. So I'm gonna power wash this while I have the seat out. And I've already got the new filter on. We're through draining it. So now we're gonna put 4 quarts of oil in. And we are using 0W40 because it goes all the way up above 100 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a synthetic for European cars. And for those of y'all who don't know, this Kubota Sidekick 850, this engine is actually a Subaru engine. It is an engine that Subaru made. They later came back and sold that plant that made these engines to Kubota. So Kubota is now manufacturing these engines going forward, but this is a 2019 model, and that is an actual Subaru engine inside of this Kubota. So it's one of the things that probably gives it a lot of its reliability, and I think that was a brilliant move on Kubota's part to control their supply chain and be vertically integrated. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. We're going to put 4 quarts of oil in here. Then I'm going to have to remove a back skid pan so I can get access to the transmission drain. We'll drain that and we'll go to the next step. So I'll give you an update as we move along. But hey, we're in the hot rod garage at Heritage Farms, Texas. So I think I've shown you guys this before, but I'm very blessed. This was my dad's car that when he passed away, I inherited. 1948 Ford. We got all kinds of plaques, memorabilia. We got some nice workbenches. This workbench here I really like. It's a rolling workbench that I can roll outside on big jobs. Got electricity, wood, got multiple vices, wood vise, metal vise, storage underneath it. Pretty cool. Now this one right here I really like. This one was an actual bowling alley that came out of East Texas that basically they turned into a workbench. What a neat concept. So anyway, here we are. And the reason we're in here today is because it's literally 100 degrees outside with high humidity. Heat index is above 105. You go outside, you feel like you're dying. So luckily I've got this nice air conditioning unit. I set this big fan in front of this air conditioning unit and it blows cold air throughout this shop. So great place to work in the summer or winter. And this is why I bring it back here to do maintenance, because honestly, down at the farm, we'd have to do maintenance on a dirt floor, and that's no fun crawling around on that. So more to follow. Okay, we removed the drain plug out of the transmission, and we're getting ready to go back with the Kubota UDT Universal Transmission Hydraulic Fluid that Kubota highly recommends. Let me show you one thing I like. So this engine's, you know, got sitting up here, you got your transmission back here. I love the transmission dipstick, how easy that is to get to, very nice handle on it. But one thing I like about Kubota is I want you to look at how they put these fill holes so you can easily get a funnel in here and you can fill everything up. One thing I was also impressed with was that the drain plug on that transmission had a magnet on it, and it did have a few metal shavings in it, but according to the owner's manual and the service manual, that's pretty normal. This is my first time to do a transmission change on a side-by-side, but I guess the way these transmissions are, they expect that, and that's why they put the magnet on the bottom. So it was probably time to do an oil change, and so we're doing that, and we'll see, more to follow. So here we go. Okay guys, so now we're on the front of the Kubota, and we're changing out the front transfer case. You can see that's the fill hole, and right here is the drain plug. And we are in the process of draining out the oil out of the front transfer case. And it only holds 6/10 of a quart. So not much, not even a full quart, 6/10 of a quart. So as you can tell, this thing's already stopped draining. So I'm about to put the plug back in, and then I've got to find a really long funnel, because look how challenging that's going to be to get a something in there. Once again, I'm not very happy with my power washing I did. This thing was filthy beyond belief. So really a shame that this thing has been so abused, but hey man, at the farm, it's got to work. So more to follow. Well, this turned out to be a little bit of a harder job getting the fluid back into this front differential. So I had to find a little bitty funnel, and the problem is my bigger funnel wouldn't fit. I couldn't get the oil to pour cleanly into there, so I had to end up using a turkey baster of all things, and it actually worked fairly well. I was able to, since I only needed 6/10 of a quart in there, I was actually able to use the turkey baster, get it filled up, and I think we got this job behind us, so we're moving on. Okay, we're at the next stage of the maintenance project, which is the air filter. You know, and they recommend that you replace this air filter at every 1,000 hours. So we're 396 hours in, so we are not ready. But I have to tell you, I was very, very impressed considering how dirty this Kubota is. I really thought the air filter was gonna look terrible, and it didn't. I mean, it's fairly clean. So you got the outer cartridge, and then you have an inner cartridge. This inner cartridge had absolutely nothing on it whatsoever. So we're gonna install that, push it back in. We got that set. The outer one I took out, and I took the air hose, and I know some people are gonna say you should never blow out an air filter with an air hose, blah, blah, blah. But I did, and really virtually nothing came out of it. This filter was really, really clean. So kudos to Kubota and the way they have this air filter set up, but it does a pretty good job. So here's the cap. You see it's got a little dust on the inside, so I'm gonna wipe this out. We'll reinstall it, and we'll see what happens. All right, more to follow. Okay, well, daylight's burning. So here we are, day 2 of the Kubota 400-hour maintenance and review and cleanup and everything else. So we got the oil change, we got the transmission fluid change, we got the air filter blew out, cleaned out, and we got the front differential oil changed. So we've done good, but boy, just what I realized was, you know, even after 2 hours yesterday of power washing, we did not get this thing clean. We knocked off some of the dirt, but man, there was dirt everywhere on this. So I crawled underneath here, and for about an hour with the screwdriver, I scraped dirt off of the frame, every nook, cranny. You can see in the hot rod shop there is a ton of dirt and debris and everything else, but I think we've kind of got it going our way. So really the only thing I'm down to right now is I need to crank it up here in a few minutes, double check all of the fluid levels again. I've already checked them a couple of times. They say you're supposed to let it run like 5 or 7 minutes before you drive it to give the transmission fluid time to kind of work its way through the system, warm up, get lubricated before you drive it. So I'll probably do that. I need to put the seat trays back in, wipe them down, clean them up. There is 2 of the skid plates that have to be reinstalled. There's about 7 or 8 bolts a piece, but honestly, I just was tired of crawling around in the dirt and the debris. And you can see what it kind of looks like in here, man. What a mess. Look at all of the dirt that fell off just while I was working on it. And in the garage, there's dirt everywhere. My little drainage ditch is full of dirt, so I'm gonna have to stop here and clean that up. Biggest problem is I can't get the 55 back in the garage with all this dirt. I can't expose that 55 to dirt. That doesn't happen. Anyway, I digress. We're back to the project. But we're slowly getting this thing back in shape for its 400-hour service. The only thing I'm down to now is greasing all of the fittings, and then I'll put the skid panels back on, and we'll call it a wrap. All right, guys, let me know what you think. I am no mechanic, but I'm sure I overlooked something or pointed something out or did something wrong, and somebody will let me know about it. But if there is a better way, hey, I'm all ears. Let me know. All right, guys, there you go. Okay, well, we finished the maintenance. 400 hours of service, and this is what we're finally down to. We just finished greasing all of the A-arms. We also took some WD-40. You can see all the A-arms. You got 4 grease fittings on each side. You got pivot points back up in here for the bed, places they say that you need to lubricate. We got that actually handled, so we greased all the A-arms. We came around here, we lubricated the emergency brake cable. We also lubricated the spring, the return spring on the accelerator pedal. We came in here, we also greased the front A-arms. You've got grease fittings on the front, top, and back on each side. Man, just a lot of work. There's also a grease fitting down somewhere down in there that you need to get for that actually holds the drive shaft. So anyway, we've pretty much done it all. We've greased everything, we lubricated, we changed the transmission fluid, the motor oil, we did the front differential, we cleaned out the air filter. The only thing that would be left would be the spark arrestor, and at 400 miles, I just really don't think that's an issue. And so I think this is pretty much gonna call it quits. And we power washed it like 2 separate occasions. And we still have sand and dust and debris everywhere. So guys, let me tell you. So we've had it 2 years, we got 400 miles on it. Knock on wood, it's given us 0 problems. We have ran it like a rented mule. We have beat it, we've abused it, and it gets serviced about once a year. And I know that's not perfect, but that's just the world I live in. That's how fast my world spins. So anyway, we're gonna continue to do these annual services on it. But man, if anybody's on the bubble, whether or not to buy a Kubota or a Polaris or a Can-Am or anything, you know, I had a Polaris 4-wheeler. You can watch my videos. I'm not a fan of Polaris at all. I had nothing but problems with that 570 Sportsman. So here we are 2 years in. This thing is bulletproof, and we have worked it like you wouldn't believe. What's the saying about a horse? Worked hard, put up wet, something like that. Anyway, this thing has been just a beast of a machine. And next to the tractor, the second most important piece of equipment at Heritage Farms. So hey, glory be to God. Thank you for watching. Tell me what you think. But hey, would I buy another one? Absolutely. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. I've been very, 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 very happy with it. And shame on me for letting it get this far out of control and getting behind on the maintenance. But it's just a testament to Kubota and how they make a serious machine where some of these others are just toys. That's my opinion. Hey guys, glory be to God. Thanks for watching. Leave me a comment. Love to come by and check out your channel. If you're not a member, hit the subscribe button. Leave us, hit the thumbs up. What else do I want? Oh, ring the bell. Yeah, so you'll get future notifications. Hey guys, have a great day.